everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the 10th episode of Ask AstronEra, and I welcome you all as we take this journey ahead. I am very glad that we have reached to our 10th episode, and surely it's going to be really special because I'll be answering this question that I get asked like a lot. I mean, every single time that I go out to do stargazing program or whoever is having any interview with me, they do ask me this, and I think it is really important that people know what I'm about to tell you today, which is how to do astronomy while sitting at home. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and do ask me question in the chat box, and I will surely be answering your questions while you write in chat box. Also, let me know what you want me to talk about in upcoming Ask AstronEra's episodes. Also, from tomorrow, an important astronomical week is going to start. It's called as World Space Week. So for the whole week, every year from 4th October to 10th October, we celebrate World Space Week. And this year's topic is satellites and how satellites help us. So for next AstronEra, I'm surely going to be talking about that. So if you have any questions about World Space Week or satellites, write them down in the comment box and I'll answer those in next Ask AstronEra session. So for now, let's get started and stay tuned until the end of this session for a hint of a special announcement that's coming your way. So today we are going to talk about how to do astronomy while sitting at home. Now everybody thinks that, if you want to do astronomy, you need a telescope for that. But let me burst that myth right in the start of this talk over here. You do not need a telescope to start in the field of astronomy. So basically, those who are beginners in astronomy are called as amateur astronomers. And these amateur astronomers are all over the globe and not all of them have a telescope. So I'm going to give you this guide to how to become an astronomer while sitting at home and how to do astronomy while sitting at home without having a telescope. Also, this reminds me to tell you that we do have lots of courses on astronera.org, so you can go up there, check all those courses out, and that would also be a good start for you to get into the field of astronomy, because we have all these courses on the questions that you may have wondered about the most, at least when you were young. Everybody thinks about where do we stand in the universe and what's all everything in our solar system and stuff like that. So we have talked about all that on the courses which we host on our website. So that's your first starting point. You go on astronera.org and you log into the courses, you enroll into the courses and get started by grabbing as much knowledge as possible about astronomy. So yeah, that's your first step. I think what secondly you can do is you can start observing the stars with naked eyes while sitting at your home in the night. And you can also go outside of the city, of course, after the pandemic, and you can observe the skies from the areas where there is less light pollution. So you can see more stars, because of course from the city you cannot see many stars. For example, if you had gotten up early today and would have looked at the sky, you would have seen that Moon and Mars are very close to each other right now. So, such astronomical events are also easy to see with your naked eyes and you can definitely enjoy them. Also, and plus to this is that you can start keeping a log. So that is kind of another firm step towards becoming an astronomer, because astronomy is basically an observational science. So it is important that you keep a log of your observations. So you need to have an astronomical diary. Also, if you do not know how to stargaze, if you do not know how to spot the planets, which are the stars, which are the planets, and how do they revolve, the constellations and stuff like that, this is something that's going to help you. So it's called as a star dial. and you can get it off Amazon or even any science shop. The science shop that I know in Pune is the science shop called Eureka, which is near the SP College. So you can get this from there as well. So I'm going to show you quickly how this works. So for example, you can see the name of the month is given over here. So all we have to do is bring October over here, because right now the October is going on. So here's October. And if you look closely, there are also the dates given over here. So since today is 3rd of October, I can see 5th of October is given over here. So let's see how the sky is going to be around 5th October in the midnight. Okay, so you see that there is 5th of October here, and this is how the sky is going to be in the midnight. And you can see all the constellations over here. So you're going to want to hold this up over your head, and you'll see all the constellations like they are given over here. So you can definitely take this star dial. I know you do have some softwares which I'm also going to mention after this, which will help you understand the night sky. You can just hold your phone up and you can see what constellations are there. But trust me, if you want to become a real astronomer, this is what you need to do. You need to remember the constellations. You need to understand how the planets are going around and when and how to spot them. You need to understand how to differentiate between the planets and the stars. So also, if you get this star dial, as I'm telling you, you can see that there's lots of information given over here, which you can also check out and get you started in positional astronomy. So for example, here it's given time, stars and constellations locator. So you understand how to spot the north from here. From the Big Dipper, we know it as Saptarshi, and it can definitely help you get started and remember the constellations and observe the constellations from your backyard. So let's say this is going to be your second step of becoming an astronomer. If you insist on watching the planets, the moon a bit closer, rather than taking a telescope, I'd say that you invest in a binocular. So binoculars are really great for 3 main reasons. 1, they're cheaper than the telescope, of course. Secondly, with the binoculars, you have wider view. So you can watch many stars with just, with one binocular. When you're looking through the telescope, there is only a small field of view that you can observe. But binoculars are better because you can have larger field of view. And the third thing is that it's very easy to handle. With the telescopes, you need to do very fine arrangements, but with the binoculars, you can easily spot the object that you want to observe, let it be Jupiter or Moon, the brightest planets in the sky and stuff like that. And also, the binoculars can be used for the other hobbies, such as, let's say, bird watching. So it would be a great investment for a beginner in astronomy. Another thing that you should have is that if you go to any astronomer, they will tell you that you need to have the knowledge of positional astronomy and you need to read a lot of astronomy books. So as I told you about positional astronomy, we do have a course on astronera.org, which is called Astronomy Without a Telescope, which actually tells you everything about positional astronomy, how to observe the constellations, how to spot the planets, differentiate them from the stars and stuff like that. So you can go get started with that. And then coming to the books, I have quite a few recommendations. A lot of people were asking me what all books are there. I was showing some books last time in last episode of Ask AstronEra, which I use for my studies. And so this time I'm going to show you a few more books that you should buy as a beginner in the field of astronomy, which will help you do astronomy from your backyard, from your home. So of course the first one is Carl Sagan's Cosmos. It's one of the classic books and I really love it. There's also a web series, a TV series kind of thing of Cosmos, which is also hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It is a new version, so if you can get your hands on that, that is also very good. So you should have this book in your astronomical books collection. what I grew up with was actually these little books. So I studied in Marathi medium, so these were the books that I got my hands on when I was really young. These are all science fiction book by our mentor, Dr. Narekar, and these are really amazing. This one particularly really got me interested into astronomy and actually think beyond our own Earth. So you should definitely get your hands on these. Other science fiction books in English are also available, written by Jules Verne, or many other authors. Then another book that helped me a lot, and you can see by the looks of it how much it's been used by me. It's Tarakancha Vishvat by Parag Mahajani. This is also a Marathi book, but it tells you everything about the constellations and how to spot them and a few of their Indian mythological stories as well. It also has a little bit of dictionary in it, which will tell you the definitions of all the astronomical terms such as zenith or horizon or the types of stars and stuff like that. So this is also one of the books that has actually helped me a lot. Then of course last time I showed you this book. It's a little bit more towards the nerdy, sciencey side if you wanna really go beyond a little bit from your hobby and do a little bit deeper astronomy. You have astronomy exercises in this. You have to solve some mathematical problems, and this is a really interesting book that you can get. It's called The Universe by Roger Friedman, and it has amazing images and everything, and it's really great. So you can also, if you can get your hands on this. Another book which I don't have but would have loved to have and I would recommend to you is this book called The Night Watch by Terence Dickinson. So if you can get this book, it's gonna help you observe the night sky with your naked eyes as well, or it's kind of a guide toward watching the night sky. So if you can get your hands on this book, that'll be great as well. Also, if you can get some subscriptions to some astronomy magazines, that'll be amazing because they will keep you up with latest news in the field of astronomy. Of course, you get everything on the internet, but with the images and with the articles written especially by the scientists would be really great. So I have these few magazines over here. I get them because I'm a member of the Royal Astronomical Society, so they are sent to me. But some of the magazines that I would recommend that you could have membership would be this magazine called The Sky and Telescope. So that's really amazing magazine which you can subscribe for, and I'm sure there are also a lot of e-magazines which you can subscribe for, so do keep an eye out for such things as well. Now, going to the most interesting and important part of this session, the softwares that you can use to do astronomy from your home. So I did tell you that astronomy is all about observing, but these are the softwares which will help you apply your observational skills. As I told you, if you actually get yourself writing kind of writing a diary about astronomy, writing down your observations, you can actually implement them during in these softwares. And I'm gonna go through these softwares one by one, and most of them are free. I don't know a few of them if they are paid, but these are the ones that I usually use and I love them. So the first one is Stellarium. This is also kind of a digital sky map, but what I love about Stellarium is that you can go back in the past, how much ever back in the past that you want, and you can also go in the future. You can change the time, you can change your location on the Earth, and you can see how the sky is going to be visible in this. Also, the updates of these software keep coming up, so you can see there are some meteor showers in it, there are some satellite spotting in it, some comet spotting in it. So definitely Stellarium is must have. You can download it for free from the website of Stellarium. So just go on Stellarium and download the software for your computer. I don't know how good is the mobile version, but definitely if you have it in your laptop, in your desktop, Stellarium is a must have for a beginner astronomy. If you want to have something on your phone, there is of course this Google Sky Map, which is basically Google Map but for the sky, right? So you can just hold your phone up and it will show you what you're looking at. It needs some calibration and then you're good to go to observe the constellations. So yeah, the second one is Google Sky Map. The third one, which I use a lot, is this website called heavensabove.com. So it's heavens-above.com. And if you go up here, you can adjust your location there. There's going to be a box on the right top corner. You adjust your location over there and it will show you some amazing things in the sky that you can observe. It will show you what asteroids are there in the sky, what comets are there in the sky that you can see with your binoculars, with your telescope, what's going to be their brightness as in their magnitude. And you can also have some sky maps there. You can just print them if you want to go away from somewhere and observe the sky. So that's there. And the best thing that I use it for is to see if there are ISS pass or Hubble Space Telescope pass. ISS is an International Space Station. So if it's going to pass from overhead from your location, this website or this app tells you about it, and you can go outside and watch the International Space Station with your naked eyes. It looks like a star passing by. You must have even seen something like that, but you wouldn't know that it's actually International Space Station. And many satellites which are there in the sky actually look like a star is passing by. Depending on how big or small they are, their brightness is different. But yeah, you can see these satellites. Talking about satellites, I also mentioned iridium flare. So iridium flare is also kind of a satellite that you can spot. But what's the best about it is that you will start seeing a dim star. It gets brighter and brighter and then again it dims out. This is because there are lots of satellites sent by which have like kind of a solar reflectors on it, to explain a bit simply. And when the sunlight kind of reflects from that and falls on your location, you are able to observe the iridium flare, which is also an amazing naked eye object that you can spot. Also, if you just keep looking at the sky, there are meteor showers going on. So almost every month there is some meteor shower. The biggest meteor showers is Perseids in August and Geminids in December. So even if you don't look at them at their peak time, you'll still be able to see meteors in the night. For example, for Perseus meteor shower, you can expect to see fireballs in the sky. So you can see actually green or red meteors. Even for Geminids, you can expect about 120 meteors per hour. So now if you just keep looking up, it's gonna help you see a lot of objects. This one time I was just observing Jupiter through my telescope and I saw that there was actually shadow of one of the Jupiter satellite falling on the surface or the cloudy surface of Jupiter, and that was when I had just bought my telescope. I was just 16 and every night I used to observe Jupiter and keep a log, and that's how I observed the shadow falling on the surface of the Jupiter. The shadow was of one of the moons of Jupiter and it was amazing to see. Also, this one time I was just looking up in one of the astronomy camps. I was just looking up and I saw that suddenly not a meteor but something like a satellite or some star just went by. And later on, when I searched for it, I understood that it's actually one of the parts of a satellite or something that's in the space which got attracted by the force of gravity on Earth, and then it just fell off. And that's what I saw. So you can see something amazing like that even when you're just looking up. Okay, going back to the software. So we're talking about softwares and I got distracted a little bit. So we spoke about Heavens Above right now. And then we can move to the American Meteor Society. So here you can actually log in your observations about the meteors that you have observed. For example, if you're observing Leonids meteor shower on 17th of November and you understand how to observe meteors and you actually count the meteors, their how they were, in which constellation did you see it, and all these details. If you have logged them correctly, you can upload your log on this website, which is the American Meteor Society. And you can just upload your observations up there, which helps the real science, the real scientific community. So this is how you can directly get involved into some kind of research by being an amateur astronomer and doing astronomy at your home. Similarly, there is also American Association of Variable Stars. So variable stars is also an astronomical object that you can observe, but for this you will mostly need a telescope, and you will observe the brightness changing of these variable stars, and you can upload your observations on this website. Then there is this Indian startup one of my colleague had started, which is RadHome. I think it's been working since 2014, and you can find their Facebook page and join their community and see what it's all about. So it's called Rad at Home, R-A-D at home. Then there is transitsearch.org, where they will tell you how to observe the transits and how to put up logs about it. There is also zooniverse.org, so you can go check that out as well. It has lots and lots of projects that you can contribute to, not just astronomy but some of the other fields as well. So you can go to zooniverse.org and contribute to research over there. Then also there is International Occultation Timings Association, so you can observe occultations and put up your log on this website as well. So there's so many websites up there, and which you can go and contribute to while sitting at home, while not even really observing, or while just keeping log of your observations, and you can go up there and put up your log. So after this, let me go and give you some more tips of becoming an astronomer. If you want to buy a telescope, let me tell you that first, before buying a telescope, you have to understand how to do astronomy without a telescope, with your naked eyes, because people think that telescope is something that you can just point it somewhere in the sky and it's gonna show you something beautiful, but that's not the case, because you're zooming in so much. Your field of view is so small, you're not going to see more than 4 or 5 stars from the city, at least 4 or 5 tiny dim stars from your telescope. So you need to understand how to spot the planets, because after a while, of course, you'll set your telescope on the moon, you'll watch the moon for a while, but after a while you'll get bored of it and the telescope will just sit in one of the corner in your houses. I know you would say that, no, that's not gonna happen, I'll use it a lot, but that doesn't really happen, and your telescope ends up getting rusty and bad, and then you don't know how to really use it. So if you really want to buy a telescope, you need to invest really in it, and you cannot bargain on the quality. You need best quality telescope. Understand that the telescopes are still evolving, and there's always going to be something new on the market. Just with the cameras, it's just like the cameras, like you buy a camera and within 2 years there's a new camera that you would want to buy. But what will help you is there's another course on our website which tells you all about telescope, and there's another course on our website which is how to buy a telescope. So you can go through these 2 courses which will help you get your first telescope. But remember, do not buy a telescope before knowing your positional astronomy. So that's one really important thing that I wanted to tell you if you want to start being an amateur astronomer, Also with astronomy, you need to have some real patience. It will always be the case that you would want to observe something beautiful, maybe some transit or some occultation in the sky, and there'll be lots of clouds, which is going to ruin your observations. But with astronomy, you cannot help it, because you have to play however the universe wants you to play. There's nothing that you can do other than having some patience, and it kind of puts you in place when you realize that with your small telescope or binocular you can see that Jupiter is really small, the moon, which is close to us, appears big. It kind of makes you think where you stand in this universe, how you are compared to this massive universe and the objects that you're watching through your telescope, which appear to be really small but are extremely big. So I hope you liked these tips today, and if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. I already see a question by Akshay Sant, so I'll answer that. Until then, you can post your questions in the chat box, and I'd love to go ahead and answer them as well as I can. So Akshay Sant is asking, can you tell what type of astronomy engineers can do at home with engineering skills? Well, you can build a telescope for starters. It's a hectic job, but as an engineer and a beginner in astronomy, this should definitely help you. You can also build telescope motors to keep your telescope running and tracking the object. So I think that will be really great. Also, what I once wanted for my observational night was this big battery kind of thing, which helped me with a red light, which didn't, affect my eyes while I was doing the observation, which also kept my phone, my laptop, and my telescope charged. So if you can make something like this, like one in all device, it will be really amazing, and I think lots of astronomers would want this, because whatever is available in the market, it's really expensive and not inclusive of all these things. So if you can spot all these pain points and come up with your engineering skills to answer those, that will be really amazing. So such small projects you can do as an engineer in astronomy. There are another question by Ms. Nirgude. Which type of company of telescope do you have? So I have two telescopes. One I received as a gift by International Astronomical Union, which is Celestron telescope. So yeah, I have Celestron, which is really amazing company. In fact, it was one of the first companies to start modifying telescopes, start producing telescopes that way. Another telescope that I have, which is manual telescope, it is by Skywatcher. So that was my first telescope, which I bought when I was 16. The another question is, are there any Indian softwares like the Stellarium? I'm not really aware if there are any Indian softwares like that. But I think even on Stellarium, lots of Indian people have worked. And as I told you, no, I don't really know if there are any Indian softwares like Stellarium. So I guess today's talk is going on for a really long time. We went for half an hour, and so I told you that there's a little thing that we can do tomorrow. That there is a little announcement. So tomorrow we have the talk by Reut Abramovich, which is going to be there at 6 in the evening, so you can attend that. And after Reut's talk is finished, there's gonna be a big massive announcement about what's coming up for you. So that was the tiny announcement for today about tomorrow's announcement. Last Sunday we didn't have any session by Reut, but tomorrow we are definitely gonna have her session, so do join that to know what's the announcement all about. And from tomorrow, the International Space Week is going to begin, so definitely try to do something related to astronomy for that. This week's topic is satellites. So sorry, is the talk still going? Okay, I'm sorry, there was just some issue in the software, I guess. So yeah, we are going to put up lots of announcement on our social media. So follow us on our social media at AstronEra on Instagram, on Facebook, or wherever, on Twitter, and do join in our small challenges that we are going to come up as the World Space Week. So thank you so much for joining in, and until next week, clear skies.